NFL draft in the books. I am very jealous. Robin was down at the draft.
Jiminy Christmas.
Eating barbecue, drinking beer with
great.
150,000 people watching the draft.
Yeah.
How was it, Robin?
It was fun. I'm glad I did it. And I also realized that it's something I never have to do again.
Why?
It was a lot. So day one was just chaos. I mean, there were so many people down there, and we made the mistake of trying to get up to there's the lower bowl, the lower section where you our VIP, you pay a bunch of money to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's that next tier where it's the average Joes that get in for free, like me. Well, we got really good spots right on the fence line.
Did you really?
Of that. And so we staked out that spot, so we had to save it. So we were essentially trapped with thousands of people behind us. You're at a concert.
And once you get up, your spot's
to go to the bathroom, to get a beer, to get food, you're knifing your way through thousands of people, only to wait in line for an hour at a concession stand to buy a $13 beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
there you go.
That got old quick.
Yeah.
Day two was way better because we just spent most of our time in the fan experience area and did all the events. I did the vertical.
Did you?
They said I got 33 inches.
No
There's no
way
way I'm jumping 33
You went
inches.
33?
No, I didn't. I don't know. Their measurement was wrong.
You're a Polish white dude.
My 40-year-old legs are not putting me 33
You're
inches in the air.
33. That's incredible.
Yeah. It wasn't. So again,
33.
but they made me feel good about myself.
Did your friends have good ones though?
No, I got the highest.
Hey.
And then
garage.
I think Shanka hit 30.
Sean hit 40. Those calves.
Freaky calves.
I did the Hail Mary challenge where you throw the ball into the basket. Made my first one. No big deal.
Hey,
Rob had a good trip.
Long story short, it was fun. But I don't have to do it.
Can you see? Well, there's screens. Can you see?
Yeah. So in the fan experience, they have big jumbo screens with audio. So that's where we'd keep track of who was picking, and then whenever the Giants would pick, I just go over the screen. And
did you see anybody up close, a player,
No.
coach? It was.
No, we were so far away from the stage. But after the draft, we went down and got to go right by the stage for the concert. I didn't go to the first one, which was Fall Out Boy. I skipped that one. But the second one was Motley Crue.
Gee, Christmas.
So I was front and center for Motley Crue.
Was that? Thursday, Friday?
That was Friday night.
Friday night, Motley Crue.
It'd be hard to get out of hand there with this.
Tommy Lee looks a lot different than he was when he was
Does he?
a student at the University of Nebraska.
Well,
one of Harvey Perlman's proudest moments, doing a reality TV show. With
you remember Tommy Goes to College or whatever?
So there was a lot. It was noticeable in Kansas City how many people were there.
Yeah.
Just around town.
They said they expected, vendors said they were told they expected over 300,000 for the weekend. It felt like there was 150 on day one.
Is that right?
It was crazy. Just mass humanity.
Did you ever have to get an Uber?
No, because we stayed close enough to where we could walk. It was a long walk.
I
Because
couldn't even imagine.
You could only go in through one entrance. So that was the hard part. And it was all the way around. But there was stuff all around the streets. It was fun. But again, it was just a lot.
That is fascinating.
$13 beers get old real quick.
25 ounces at least?
No.
16?
Well, I don't know. There's the little aluminum bottles.
So yeah, 16 ounce.
16 ounce.
Wow.
I'm really amazed.
Well, Nebraska guys, two guys drafted.
Back to Nebraska.
Getting the ship back on the tracks here.
Yeah, that was all right. That was good. Some good stuff.
I just want to. You're the only guy I know that went. So
yeah,
it was a bucket list.
Actually, our buddy Mike Hewitt went too. I know.
Yeah, I actually saw him.
You saw Mike?
Yeah.
All right, shout out to Mike. But two guys drafted from Nebraska: O'Shawn Mathis, Trey Palmer. Neither a surprise. The surprise probably was O'Shawn went before Trey Palmer. No Garrett Nelson drafted. No. Travis Vokalek drafted. Sorry, Sipple.
You were right.
I just had to kind of Sipple. If you didn't listen last week, Sipple had kind of a stare down with me that Garrett Nelson was going to get drafted, and I think Garrett's a great player. I just said I think he's going to get a free agent deal.
Yeah, and so he did sign as an undrafted free agent with Miami, and he was one of the 30 people they brought, 30 players they brought in.
For official visits,
you call them official visits. I did think he had a good chance to get drafted. I was. I mean, come on. I wasn't overly surprised that Palmer slipped to the 6th round because you figured it'd be 3 to 5, and you never quite know.
Drops kind of hurt him.
I guess I was a little surprised O'Shawn went.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. I didn't know if he would or not.
I mean, he went to the combine.
Yeah.
But so did Vokalek.
Yeah. But anyway, good for them. I know I did talk to O'Shawn, and he was relieved. I mean, really relieved that it's interesting how different players kind of handle the draft. O'Shawn said it was intensely nerve-wracking. I remember Lamar Jackson was a guy I'll never forget talking to him. He slid out of the draft, if I'm not mistaken.
He's still in the league or not?
Yeah, he was last year. And I'll never forget the way he talked about that day. It was excruciating hell. I mean, he said he went and walked around the block and he said it was terrible. O'Shawn kind of portrayed it that way. On the other hand, Trey Palmer was like, no, I wasn't stressed out. Whatever.
Did you talk to Trey too?
No, I read some comments that he had. So it's fascinating to me. I would think it would be intensely. There'd be a lot of pressure.
Think about JoJo Doman a year ago.
Didn't get drafted.
He wasn't drafted. Went to the combine, played in the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
But he still made the active roster for all 17 games in Indy.
How about that?
Blocked a punt, scored a touchdown. I've talked to Joe Doman and his family, and he made like $900,000 this year.
Oh, hello.
He had a good year, good rookie year.
Yeah.
So the being drafted is clearly not end all be all. Look at Travis Vokalek. He didn't get drafted, and within minutes of the draft being over, he announced or it was reported that he signed a free agent deal with the Ravens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he signed with the Ravens.
Clearly he was a priority free agent signing for them.
Caleb Tanner was
and a lot of times, they were all that first day, so who knows? But with Vokalek, he was in a situation where he didn't get drafted, but he got to pick where he wanted to go.
Oh, there are people that will tell you, most people that know will tell you better not to get drafted. If it's the 7th round, it's better not.
You'll still get signing bonus. So
that's what it is. There's the guarantee with being drafted, which
I'm telling you, I've talked to people who are very convinced.
Yeah, that's short-term benefit. Yeah. Whereas going to the best situation for you to actually make a roster, that's the long-term benefit.
Well, and what I've heard is it's not like if they draft you in the 7th round, they look at you differently than they look at a signed free agent. No. There's no pressure to keep you if you're a 7th or 6th rounder. Now, if you're a 3rd or 4th rounder, there might be a little more pressure on a GM to say,
keep them around.
We better keep them. We took them, but after that, there's no pressure on those guys to say we better keep this draft pick over this undrafted free agent. No, throw that out the window.
Brady Weiss, the long snapper,
Texans.
Did he get an undrafted free agent deal or an invite?
Yeah, so there's a difference between a free agent deal and a mini camp invite.
He got a mini camp invite.
Sure. Like Chris Kolarovic got a mini camp invite.
So only an NFL team, I believe, can only have 90 players signed total.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you get an undrafted free agent deal. You're in one of those 90 precious spots.
Mm-hmm.
If you get an invite to the quote rookie mini camp, you get invited for a weekend, praying and hoping that you might get a spot on the 90.
Yeah. Right.
But it's really, really tough.
Yeah.
Right.
It's tough for anybody to make that league. Yeah. The thing that always makes an impression on me is you see names in the late rounds where you're like, oh my God, he was good. Or
how about Mo Ibrahim?
Did not draft.
Not getting drafted.
Just not
one of the best backs in the country.
Max Duggan, how late he went.
Yeah.
Yeah. Max Duggan's like Deuce Vaughn, 6th round. You see Deuce Vaughn fall to the 6th round.
Deuce Vaughn declared he could have come back.
Yeah.
If he would have known that, you think if Deuce Vaughn knows he's a 6th round pick, does he come back?
That's a good question. And of course he goes to the Dallas Cowboys where his dad is, but every year that's what makes an impression on me watching a draft is you see these names that you think, well, these are great players, not drafted.
And then you see like 3 or 4 dudes from Old Dominion get drafted.
Well, you see some of that too. Yeah. You don't see
Giants took one of them.
Really?
It is crazy though, the grip of power the SEC and the Big Ten have on the game. And if you take USC, UCLA, Texas, and Oklahoma and add their picks to the SEC and the Big Tens now, there are more draft picks from those two conferences with 32 teams than all of football.
And the rest of the conferences combined.
All levels.
Yep. Yeah, the SEC now has had the most players drafted.
The Big Ten closed the gap,
Hold on,
though.
Sean. The SEC has had the most players drafted for 17 straight years.
It was like a 62 to 55 gap this year. It wasn't like the Big Ten.
Not a big gap.
I kind of would just like to see the Big Ten get it, because 20 of the picks were Georgia and Alabama. 20, 10 and 10.
Yeah.
And you see
the Eagles took the entire Georgia 2 deep.
Yep.
I think that's when you talk about SEC like arrogance. That's what like a Kentucky fan or a Mississippi State fan, and they're like they act like they're no. It's Alabama and Georgia. They have 20 of the picks.
That's a good point, Sean.
And the other teams like SEC. I mean, but you could say that about Nebraska pumping their chest about the Big Ten's draft because
called Ohio State dudes.
Yeah, there you go. 62-55, ACC 32. Thank you, Megan. Big 12 30, Pac 12 27.
Yeah, think how many UCLA, USC, Texas, Oklahoma are going to come off that 30 and 27 right there.
Yeah,
that's a lot. I mean, it really has changed quite a bit when you just break down what these two leagues and how they've pulled away.
Yeah, I mean, it's where you want to be. I think that's where you want to be if you're a player. If you can't be.
I think it's another indication too about you look at Nebraska's issues, NFL talent. I mean, it's just so lacking, and this is another example of that where the best prospect on your team was a 6th rounder.
Both transfers.
Both 1 year rentals.
Yeah.
1 year. Yeah. Like you want to look at Nebraska's issues and why they've struggled the way they have. It's that. I mean, they just don't have the Joes and the Jimmies. Like
100%.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. When people ask you what's happened, Robin, what's happened, Sean, to Nebraska, start with that. Look at the drafts and look at the lack of All-Americans.